You're listening to Wanna Coffee with Kai Alicia.
And Adriana.
Talking
Random.
sensible
Shit.
I had to call my dad recently, and I remembered how much easier it is to listen to him over the phone than it is to talk with him, because like in person, because he's such a close talker. Like, he has no concept of personal space. Doesn't matter who you are. He has absolutely no concept of personal space. And it's impressive because I think I wouldn't say most people. No, I think most people are pretty conscious of personal space, but there's like a certain percentage, a good percentage too, of people who really have no concept of personal space and are just like extremely close talkers. Yeah.
What about your
Anywho,
mom?
oh, my mom. She was very point blank, very matter of fact. She was, oh, my mom, her talking style.
Mm-hmm.
She finished all of her words. She was very careful about her speech. She only said what she felt needed to be said. And she was conscientious of how little or how much people were talking. And she was pretty metered too about everything. But I would say for a lot of people, she came across as very warm, but also had a like a firm side to her.
Right.
Yeah, almost sort of like a teacher, you know, like a teacher, like a good teacher who knew how to like organize, you know, that type, I think.
Yeah, I imagine your mom being uh really dignified, you know? Like someone you admire, you love, but at the same time it's like, I don't want to be on
On
her
her
bad
bad
side.
side. That's really good. Oh my God, you've never even met my mom, and
Yeah.
that's pretty good. Wow, is that this is so interesting that talking style, in many ways and in many respects, can reveal a lot about a person, I guess.
Yeah.
What
Yeah,
about
and it looks
your?
like your parents were
Mm-hmm.
uh somehow they were a little bit in the opposite sides.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Do
They
you think
were.
that happens in couples?
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes, say for example, with my partner, he's a little bit on, he's like all his words are measured. Like no word that comes from his mouth is not analyzed or calculated. Like words have a purpose for him,
Uh-huh.
and which is sometimes a little bit frustrating because it's like, come on,
Mm-hmm.
fool around with some small talk. Don't
Mm-hmm.
be shy. And on the other side, I'm, I'm not that expressive, but compared to him, I'm a little bit more social and expressive. But then again, the way he talks, like his speech, like you wouldn't consider him a cool person. Like he's
Mm-hmm.
really quiet and calculates everything, but the way he speaks, like makes you feel safe, like you can trust him. Like, I'm not saying more things, but I'm a warm person.
What is it about his voice that reveals that?
Oh, I will say, oh, he has a face. No, like, no,
Uh-huh.
there is something like on his intonation,
Mm-hmm.
and and I will say his voice is very, I don't know how to say that, but it's like, ooh,
Mm-hmm.
like it's like it's grave. I don't know how to say that.
Hmm.
And yes, but it's not that much that it will be like, oh, I'm scared of that person. Like, you know, that your primal instinct, like if a kid will listen to him, the kid will be scared. No, it's more
Oh.
a confident, mature voice. I will say that. I don't know how to describe it. A voice.
Yeah, you know, when I think of Fraser's voice, I think he's got a very warm tone.
Yes.
It's like it's not very low. It's almost a little, it almost sounds inquisitive or curious. And so I guess it sort of sounds a bit inviting, and maybe that's why it sounds warm as well. Um and and you're right. I feel like uh Fraser's speech is really measured, and he's intentional and purposeful about his phrasing and his words, the words that he uses, but also every once in a while, like, I shouldn't even say every once in a while, like when he gets excited about something or wants to be a bit more clear, he
Mm-hmm.
has this like double stutter thing that he does. And
Yes, that's true.
it's so endearing. It's like, oh my
It's really cute.
God. And I've always wondered about it because I'm like, wow, is he really excited to say this? Or or doesn't he want to say this? Or but either way, it comes across as like, well, I'm gonna say it, and here it is. And it's so, it comes for me, it there's a warmth to it. Which is really cool. The little stutter there.
Yeah, I think that is what. And going to speak in styles, like, I think it's when he recalibrates what he's going to say. Like he was thinking of saying
Mm-hmm.
something, and
Mm-hmm.
someone or whatever happened, and now the thing that he was supposed to say is not the thing that he wants to say. So he's like, like you can imagine like a YouTube video. He's buffering, like, okay, I'm thinking again. Reloading. So he won't say the words, but he's
Mm-hmm.
rethinking. So it's because other people, they will just say like what they wanted to say and then rephrase again.
Mm-hmm.
But that
Mm-hmm.
kind of like a stutter is because he's thinking again, like really quickly.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
I think that happens like with people all the time. When you know, when you say like, mm,
Fillers, yes.
yeah, you know, you're rethinking what you want to say. You're just thinking what you want to say.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've seen people like, you remember when you were in high school, is it like seeing girls saying, yeah, I don't know, like
Yeah.
whatever.
Yes. Yes. The fillers. The
Yeah, the
fillers.
fillers. The
Yes.
fillers. Sometimes I think the fillers, they have an use, and sometimes they're just like, yeah, your mind is blanking. You know what to say.
Yeah. I feel like the king of fillers who sort of made it dignified was Obama.
Really?
Yes, he's the king of and and so he made fillers sound dignified. And it's crazy because we were told, I don't know about you, but in school we were told that, you know, as you get older, fillers are not necessary.
Oh
And
yes. Hmm.
so in regular speech, you should really take them out because they don't help you. So the fact that Obama uses that, is like, it was so cool because I remember thinking, and I was in speech and debate, so like I really had to get rid of like all of my likes and and those and stuff. And when I watched him when he was first campaigning, I thought to myself, there's no way people are really going to vote for him because his use of fillers is just ridiculous.
It's like, but you know, sometimes I think that we have like this concept in Spanish. There is like, oh, how to say it in Spanish is labia, but loosely when people they have like they manage to like their speech it's so well done and they're so charismatic and in the way like the way they speak is so fluid that they kind of like I'm using fillers now what they do is like they charm you and you you stop thinking you just are marvel the way they're speaking that sometimes that turns to be whatever they're saying is false. It's just like they're just helping their ideas in a statement and just because they can express themselves more easily. So for me, sometimes being like, you know, being from a Latin country, whenever I see someone that speaks that easily, they're so well articulated, it sounds a little bit fake.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah, you know, like I don't know if you have seen those there are some preachers that they're like in God and blah 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 and you're going to hell and blah blah, blah you know, and you will see thousands of people following them and then you're in the back like yeah, no, come on, like go past whatever they're saying, the way they're saying it, and try to analyze. But people that are so embezzled with their charisma that you know they cannot see past like the way they're saying things.
So the oration style. That's
Yeah,
interesting.
exactly.
I think that you're right in that Obama's a colossal orator. But I was so taken aback that incorporated in his style of orating was the use of these fillers. But I like that you're saying that it gave him even more charisma because obviously what it's done is it's personalized he's become more personable to us, so we're like,
Exactly.
wow, he's a human being, and even more reason for me to like him, which is pretty friggin' cool actually now that I think about it, because I you know like I think about the moderators, and you know, when you think about the moderators who are like in debates, let's say like for, you know, the Democratic debates or the Republican debates or any debate really, the moderators are not allowed to have any kind of fillers, have any kind of stuttering. They have to be, you know, or anchors. They have to be journalists, so they're completely fluid in their speech. And you're right, it's sort of presentational, almost a bit mechanical. There doesn't seem to be much life.
Oh, yeah, they have to be neutral because they're journalists. Whatever
Mm-hmm.
intonation will be biased, perceived as a biased, maybe.
Yeah, but then you look at those, you know, like depending on the show or depending on the network, like Fox News, let's say in America, or MSNBC or CNN, liberal versus conservative stations, you'll see those anchors who are so emphatic and ones that are, and completely biased and still don't have like the use of fillers or bizarre language, but I guess not, yeah, things like, you know, or maybe stutter or things like that, but then it reminds me of what you're talking about with the pastors oration. Like those people know how to orate, and we go and listen to those types of people because we're impressed with how they sound and the way they deliver.
Oh, exactly. But I think that's part of the yeah. I think that should be like if it is either a priest or a pastor, you know, to apply some emotion to what they're saying is part of their job because imagine having going to church and the guy is just like God loves you, yeah, he's good, at the church.
I know, right?
La la la. Then you have to have some emotion because it's a really emotional relationship between you and God. So you have to like associate like, you know, positive positive things, and that's the way they talk. Yeah. Oh, I just remember one of my favorite movies is The King's Speech.
I haven't watched it.
Oh, and it's not just because it's Colin Firth. That's a movie, amazing movie. And the thing is, like, it's about the life of King George VI, I think. That's the father of the current queen. Anyways, he was a stutter. And the whole movie is about how he overcomes his stutter, and he prepares to become king because he was supposed to be a leader, and the way in his speech was not something that will inspire people that to follow him, especially during World War II.
Wow.
Yeah,
wow.
Yeah, I would recommend that movie anytime, any day. It's amazing. And yeah, and the moral of that story was that sadly, like, no matter how well prepared you are or capable you are, definitely the way you express yourself will affect you. Like, you're not an island, and you have to take care of how you express yourself and how people perceive you, and you have to adapt to that.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. You know, that reminds me, just in the same, what you just said about adapting. I worked for a boss who would talk slow, no matter what. There was, she could have a sense of urgency in her voice, but she always spoke slow. And so,
what's the movie with Disney that they have slow? He spoke really slow.
I don't remember.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Shoot, I don't know, but is that? Oh wait, the Seven Dwarfs.
No, I think it's like Zootropolis.
Oh.
It's really fun. Okay, we're going to make another podcast with movies about stuff.
Yes, we need to.
Please continue.
No, it's okay. It's all good. But she would always speak slow, no matter what, and very clearly, and without, like, if I was stressed about something, I'd be like, "Hey, Katie, can you please do, hi, well, let's take a look what we have here." And I realized that approach always stopped me dead in my tracks, and I had to readjust to her like level. And so in any meeting, that's how it would go, whether it was me and like 10 other people and her, she would always speak like this, and as a result demand so much attention and so much focus, and everyone had to kind of succumb to her speaking style. And so she therefore had all the power in the room, and it was so mesmerizing because she never changed.
I like that.
She never changed. Yeah, it was so impressive. Like, I'd be like, holy shit. Like, everyone usually was more relaxed, or they were just so used to her. They were just like, whatever, this is how Katie talks. And, but they always gave her the floor. Even if they found it annoying, let's say, you couldn't not, oh wow, I'm doing a double negative here, but like you just always had to pay attention to her. You always had to pay attention.
That's interesting, because usually when you are like that, you don't get along in the corporate ladder that far. Because
Yeah.
usually when you work, the people like they just tell you have to be assertive and you have to be energetic and you have to be fast and you have to move like have a certain pace.
Mm-hmm. Fast. That's it.
Fast.
But she was slow, concise, practical, assertive, but nice. And the other thing too, she always believed in the shit she was saying. So she was so convincing.
Huh.
It was like she even if you weren't going to pay attention to her, she still was going to say it because it was right.
That's a really nice leadership style. I like it.
It was impressive, let's just say. I found it really annoying because I felt like meetings were way too long, or but there was always something I could take away from the things she was saying. And I'm not sure if the reason was because um I had no choice but to pay attention to her, and so the focus was just there,
Mm-hmm.
or if she actually had she always just had a great thing to impart. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I'm not 100% sure. Um, but she was convincing nonetheless.
Hmm. Yeah. I mean, like, in the opposite side, like, I remember having a boss and he was like that, energetic, and like he will say all his ideas in 10 seconds or less, and you have to respond like right away. You didn't have any time to think or to articulate, so you were supposed to think and listen to him at the same time.
Oh
And
God.
that communication style was definitely the worst, and it was not positive for the company at all, because you take all those rash decisions and you don't know what you are going to do because everything was just half spoken, like
Mm.
halfway ideas, because you weren't even paying complete attention, because you needed to answer that man because he was expecting for you to think fast, which is now I think is stupid.
Yeah.
uh you will just have to say something just for the sake of saying it. So I would rather, definitely would rather be on a meeting with your former boss.
But yeah, it's like, what's a fast talker? What does it mean? Do they have anxiety? Do they think that what they're saying is so important? Um, and they're in a rush all the time? Do they think that what they're saying is bullshit and they just like want to hurry up and just have you agree with them?
I think, well, it depends. I would say if you're a woman and you talk fast, you're not going, like, unless you are really pushy and bossy, you're not getting along that far. You're not going that far, because they're just going to think like you're hysterical, you cannot manage your feelings, you're nervous, not even
Mm.
anxious but nervous, like you're just
Mm-hmm.
feeling the air. If you're pushy
Mm.
enough or bossy enough, I think they call that leadership. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it just
I.
like they just I don't know, fast talkers. I don't think that
Mm-hmm.
they're much into the quality of what they're saying. They're just thinking out loud. And then usually you notice that they change their mind, or they're just like, yeah, thinking out loud. And
Yeah.
mm,
I also too have noted that many fast talkers that I've known have been bullshitters,
exactly.
like colossal bullshitters, and have led me astray many times. And I'm not sure if it's because they were saying complete bullshit, or if it like I was just confused by everything anyway. Like it was just a whole bunch of bullshit.
No, I think that's a lot of bullshit. Like as statistically, you know, not 100% of whatever you say, if you haven't thought about it that well, is going to be productive or
Mm-hmm.
truthful or whatever. you have to do some filtering, and if you didn't do any filtering and just talk and talk and talk and talk, chances are you're bullshitting also. Maybe unconsciously, but yeah.
Yeah, but then there are those fast talkers who are just like brainiacs, like wizards.
Oh.
I had a student once who was like that, and I was just like, how? But he would go for like minutes without answering, and then all of a sudden, like, say something like he was in mid conversation with me and just blurt like 5 sentences, and I'd be like, what the hell?
Huh.
Say that again? He was a genius, that child. But yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah.
There's so many different types of talkers, close talkers, and people who whisper talk. Have you heard of that? Or people who don't raise their voice, like refuse to raise their voice, those type of talkers.
Huh.
Oh God. Oh. Or like,
they're interesting.
Yeah, I've met quite a few.
It's the same thing with loud talkers, like
oh
yeah.
my God, loud talker.
Yeah. Well, I'm Latin, so I can speak about loud talkers. We do exist. There is a whole continent full of them. I think. Do you think that's cultural?
I'm a loud talker too. I would say, yeah, it is. I think. I do think it's cultural. What else kind of talkers are there? Loud talkers, whisperers, people who whisper.
Whisper. Oh, people that doesn't finish their ideas.
Oh my gosh, I'm definitely one of those people. You too? Oh my God, I was one of those people.
No, really.
But I think that's probably the people who don't finish those ideas. It's because it usually, for me, I realize that has to do with like anxiety or self-consciousness. Despite like, and it's interesting that you say like high school, because we were all self-conscious and having anxiety in high school, but like, oh God,
yeah,
I
remember looking it up online because my friends they used to make fun of me. I was like, what is this? Like, I'm halfway an idea and then I'm started with something, or I just don't finish what I must say like this, like not finishing. And I think it's called cluttered speech.
Oh,
like you have like 3 ideas in your mind and your mouth is going, no, your mind is going faster than your mind. No, your mind is going faster than your mouth. So your mouth is barely finishing saying what you wanted it to say. And
yes.
Your third thought.
Yes. Wow. Honestly, that still happens to me. All the time. Kirk is like, wait, what are you talking about? Wait, hold on. Oh gosh, clutter. That's good though.
Oh, it's hilarious. It's hilarious.
Thanks for listening. We want to know what you think.
Send us your comments and follow us on Twitter and Facebook
at #WannaCoffeePod.